everyone. Good evening. I'm so glad to be with you tonight. For those of you who don't know me, I am Lauren Lefkowitz. I'm an executive leadership coach, and I work with people to escape the trap of being fine. So welcome. If you're here, let me know that you're here. I am live on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, and also Instagram. I'm trying sort of the double thing. Instagram doesn't integrate with all the other live streams, so I'm on two cameras and I'm trying to navigate that. So I'm looking here and I'm looking here, and hopefully we can all follow the conversation. So let me know if you're here in the chat. Would love to, hey David, welcome. Would love to hear from you as we're talking tonight. I love an interactive conversation. Hey, Gary, thanks for joining. And I just love to have more of an interactive conversation than to be just talking at you. But I also can talk at you, so, don't worry. Anyway, I'm so glad to be here tonight. I'm just starting an endeavor of 22 days live in a row. And I've done 21 days live in a row, so I've upped my game, and now here I am with a 22nd day in this round of lives. So I'm going to be going live to talk about everything about work life. The trap of being fine, which I'll talk about tonight, imposter syndrome, bad management, how to shift careers, all different kinds of things. So if you are curious about anything work related, leadership related, executive leadership related, just let me know. I'm happy to create a topic from your ideas as well. Hey, Tanya, thanks for coming. Hey, LinkedIn user. I'm sorry, but LinkedIn doesn't tell me who you are, but I got a wave from a LinkedIn user, so thanks for saying hello. Excuse me. So let's get started. And if you're just joining, I'm taking questions, I'm taking waves, hello. And I'm really happy to be with everyone tonight. So fine as a trap. Fine as a trap is my tagline. And it came up really from personal experience. Before I was an executive coach, I was an HR leader, an HR executive. And I was in HR for 20 years. And I loved HR for about 15 years and liked it for another year or two. And then I didn't want to be there anymore. And I couldn't get out of this trap of just saying everything is fine, right? And so that's a thing that we do, is that we say everything is fine, because if it's not fine, it's actually pretty terrible. So we get overworked. We're working too many hours, too many days, and we say, it's fine, they're paying me to do this job. It's fine, I raised my hand to do this, so now I'm obligated. Now I owe it to the company to do this. We say, it's fine that my boss is toxic, right? And toxic can come in so many ways. My boss totally ignores me, or the more frequent, my boss yells at me or demeans me or takes advantage of me or harasses me. And we say, but it's fine because I love my coworkers, and I love the job I do, and I love my clients. And so we use fine as this self-soothing sort of, shoulder rub to tell ourselves that we have earned what we've gotten, and that is all we can have. And so I lived in this fine trap for quite a long time. And I worked 80 to 100 hours a week. And I said it was fine because they were paying me well, and I was a vice president, and I had the ear of the CEO, and I had the seat at the table. I was in the place doing the thing that I wanted to do, serving the people that I wanted to serve. And so I justified a lot of things. And when I thought about looking for something new, my imposter syndrome came in. And I thought, well, they recognize me here because of all of the things I do and all of the ways I contribute. And if I go somewhere new, I'm going to have to reestablish myself and prove that I'm worthy. And I thought, well, at least here, this place where I'm working 80 to 100 hours a week, I've got freedom. I can go to the dentist if I need to go to the dentist without anybody worrying about where I am because I have a good reputation. They know that I'm responsible. They know that I'm going to take care of them. And you get into this warped thinking. And I see it with a lot of my clients. I had a client who spent a lot of years in fine because she was getting other work that was interesting. So she didn't like her main job, but she was getting other work that was interesting. And she thought, well, if I go somewhere else, they're not really going to give me a chance to explore other work. But the truth was, she knew what she wanted to do. She knew what she wanted to be when she grew up. She just needed to get brave about it and needed to get the confidence to go for it. And she did, and her salary doubled and happy ending. But I've worked with so many people who come to me and they say, fine, like 100 times in our first conversation, right? They say, well, I've been in this job for 10, 15, 25, whatever years. And it's fine. The job's fine. It's not really what I want to do, but it's fine, right? And so we ignore our unhappy in favor of making ourselves soothed. And Tanya says, I know fine, ignored unhappy during that fine. Yeah. And you can ignore unhappy for quite some time. And one day you wake up and you're like, I don't want to be unhappy anymore. I don't want to be going through this work, sleep, repeat cycle where I get up, I wake up with that feeling, that feeling in your chest or in your stomach, or even in your shoulders, right? Like you wake up and you're like, oh, it's a work day. You don't want it to be a work day because the work days are hard. And sometimes every day is a work day. There were times where I worked 100 plus days in a row with no break at all. Gary says, I can relate. Yeah, I think you and I have both been there, Gary. And what happens is we tear ourselves down, right? Because we don't get willing to move to something else, because we don't get willing to do the discovery process, which is a hard process. It's hard work. And it's really deep work to figure out what you want to do, what doesn't work for you anymore, and also what's out there for you. And the truth is, everything that you are thinking in your head, you have this like small inkling that you might be able to do, you can probably do, right? Could you become an astronaut today if you haven't gone to rocket school? I'm using a bad example because I don't know the answers and the ins and outs. No, you'd probably have to go all the way back to school. You'd be starting over, right? So there may be sacrifices with moving from one place to the other. And Tanya says, I woke up trying to figure out how I could call off sick. Yeah, what a terrible feeling, right? But then you would justify, it's fine, that's where my paycheck comes from, so I'm going to go in and keep doing that. And so a lot of people that I work with, and a lot of people that I don't work with, who are just like people I meet in passing, or people I talk to, friends, family, have this belief that they have chosen a path, they have climbed a mountain, they have gotten to the place they're going to get, and now they're at a plateau. And a lot of people think a plateau is their top, and that they have to be fine here. But what you don't realize is that a plateau still has you moving forward, right? You can stay at the edge of a plateau and just say, like, this is it, this is all I get. But if you move forward on a plateau, and you keep thinking about what do you want from here, and you're not moving up or out or around the way that you want to, all of a sudden, if you get willing, your eyes open, and you can see not just what's potentially ahead of you on the next uphill, but also there are mountains all around you. There are opportunities all around you. And for some people, the mountain is getting to the next level of the same job. For some people, the mountain is, I'm an accountant and I actually want to be in like user design, user interface design, and I don't know how to make the jump. I don't know if I can make the jump. And we we immediately go to devaluing ourselves. We immediately go to I can't because, and we justify what our skills are and that those are our only skills. And so we bury ourselves back in the fine. So what happens then is that we've had this like tiny little discovery that something can be different, and yet we don't know how to make it different. And so we back ourselves into the fine corner. And I've been coaching for many years in all different sort of aspects. I started coaching about probably 15 or 16 or 17 years ago. Really more training and consulting with resumes and cover letters and job search and that sort of thing. And then people started coming to me and saying, I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. Or my life has been like, so-so. My career's been so-so. Like there has to be more, right? Right. And the key to getting to more, the key to stepping out of fine is not doing it by yourself. It's finding a mentor, a coach, a friend who can support you and can champion you and really help you see that fine isn't fine, right? And so when you start to think about what's fine in your life, the defensive response I get, and it's actually not a wrong response, is like, not everything has to be amazing in my life. It's true. Not everything is amazing in my life. My life is a ton of fun. I love what I do. I love who I work with. But not everything's amazing. Some things are fine and I'm working on them. And some things are fine and I'm fine with them being fine. For example, I am fine with my administrative skills. Pretty good administrative skills. I don't really want to get better at them. They serve me for my business. Someday I want to outsource them. So I don't need to be any more of a whiz in Excel, for example, than I already am. I'm pretty good at it. I can do some simple formulas. Once in a blue moon, I figure out how to carry a formula to another sheet. And then I like back away from that because I don't want to be amazing at Excel. So it is okay if you actually are fine with the way that you're fine. The challenge that comes up is that when you realize that something isn't fine and you're justifying that it should be fine, that's the problem. When you are saying it's okay because there's some concession, there's some consolation prize at the end, your salary, your level, the prestige of the company you work for, the coworkers you love, the flexibility you have that you think you wouldn't have anywhere else. Thanks for coming, Tanya. Have a good night. And so I have a tool for you, and it's at fineasatrap.com. Don't get fancy and put an HTTPS. It redirects you to another site. But it's fineasatrap.com. And when you go to that site, you can get the Fine as a Trap inventory. And what that does for you is it takes you through about a 10 or 15 minute exercise where you can figure out what is fine in your life. And it's really career focused because my clients, my base are really career focused people. But it takes you through an inventory of how your career is going. And it really helps you discern what's going well, what is terrible that you don't want anymore, and what's fine. And then you get to really take a look and say, like, am I really fine with what's fine? And for me, I finally decided I was no longer fine with fine. I was working, like I said, 80 to 100-hour weeks. I had a traumatic injury where I broke both of my shoulders chasing a vacuum, which is a whole other story. I was off work for several months. And when I came back, I went right back to 80 to 100 hours. But in that in-between time, I had this realization that I didn't like that. That wasn't what I wanted the rest of my life to look like. So I got myself a coach, sort of accidentally. And that's another story that I'll talk about when I talk about how to find a coach in another live. But I realized that I wasn't going to change my own life. I realized that I was stuck in as far as I could see. And all I could see was this plateau that I had reached. And all I could see was a straight line ahead. I couldn't see what was up and I couldn't see what was over. And as soon as I started working with a coach, I had all of these aha moments because somebody else was asking me about me. Somebody else was taking the objective point of view and asking me about me. And that's the cool self-discovery, is that you can get out of your own way by not trying to do everything yourself. And when I work with clients, I see most of my clients go to the job, the company, the career, the culture that they're looking for anywhere between, a 10 or 15% raise to double where they are now. And it's because they start believing in themselves. It's because they have an objective party, me, sitting across from them. And I say objective because I'm not getting in the middle of their decisions. But my objectivity is also coupled with an unlimited belief in my clients, in what they can do and what they can accomplish. And when you have that in your life and you have that opportunity and you really explored what is fine and what is fine, that you're justifying as fine, you really start to give yourself the opportunity to figure out what you want to do next and figure out how. So I invite you to take the Find as a Trap inventory and let me know. Send me a DM if you do it and let me know how it's going. A pleasure to be with you tonight. Thank you so much for hanging out, for showing up. And I will be back tomorrow, and I will be back every day for 22 days total. So stay with me. I'll be on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. And I look forward to seeing you all again. Have a great night.